So the Lakers may need some cheap big man help sooner rather than later, sooner than expected. Now, obviously, we all knew since the beginning of the offseason that the Lakers desperately needed additional big man help. But with their backup position all of a sudden looking a little bit Jaxson Hazy due to an open investigation on a prior domestic abuse case, and with the Lakers still trying to get two-way center Christian Koloko into game shape, and now with Anthony Davis looking banged up and day-to-day moving forward, Rob Pelinka's hand may finally be forced to scour the free agency market for a cheap, non-guaranteed big man. So here is a list of 5 currently NBA unemployed free agent veteran big men with actual NBA experience, who the Lakers could sign on a non-guaranteed deal immediately if they free up a roster spot in a consolidation trade or a salary dump trade. Now, some of these players may currently be playing overseas, but a lot of players nowadays do have NBA outs built into their contract, so just keep that in mind. I'm also eventually going to do a separate video on some younger, higher upside big man options, but for now, in today's video, I want to focus on some of the names with legitimate NBA experience who are no longer two-way eligible. Alright, now let's dive into my list of 5 cheap veteran free agent big men that the Lakers should consider signing. So in no particular order, let's start with number 1, Bismack Biyombo. Somehow, despite looking like he's perpetually 46 years old, Bismack Biyombo is actually only 32 years old. He is only 6'9" in height, but he does have a massive 7'6" wingspan, which would tie him for longest on the team alongside Anthony Davis, and he is a very strong, muscularly built 255 pounds. Biyombo last played for the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies last season. He had a couple 6-point, 6-rebound games for the Thunder, but largely wasn't a part of their rotation by the end of the year. Early on in the season for the Grizzlies, however, he actually started 27 games for them in Jaren Jackson's absence and averaged 5.7 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks in 25 minutes per game. And he had a 15-point 15-rebound game and a 13-point 12-rebound game for the Grizzlies last year. So if you're factoring in which big man has the most recent NBA gameplay experience and reps, Biyombo's probably the most NBA game shape ready of anyone on this list. And in general, Biyombo, while he's not a good offensive player and he provides zero spacing capabilities whatsoever, Biyombo is just a really solid defender who can affect shots at the rim with his long wingspan, and he has a very good motor for crashing the glass thanks to his bulky frame and long reach. He also moves his feet pretty well on the perimeter and can guard the pick and roll somewhat solidly, and he can actually get off of the ground fairly well to contest shots, but most of all, he is just a brick wall on the defensive end of the floor and will eat up space in the paint. So yeah, he's a little Bismack Bioring, but still pretty effective at the end of the day. Okay, moving on to my number 2 veteran big man name, let's talk about Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley is 26 years old, he is 6'10" with a really long 7'5" wingspan and weighs 247 pounds. He was drafted by the Utah Jazz, but ironically the Jazz used one of the Lakers' picks after the Lakers traded down in that draft to draft Josh Hart and Thomas Bryant, I believe. But anyways, Tony Bradley last played in the NBA in 2022-23 with the Chicago Bulls. He has career averages of 4 points and 4 rebounds in just 11 minutes a game. His best season came with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2020-21 when he averaged 8.7 points, 6 rebounds, and 0.8 blocks in just 18 minutes per game. Tony Bradley played in the G League last year for the Mavericks affiliate team, the Texas Legends, and averaged 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks in 13 games. Also, this past August, the Sacramento Kings worked Tony Bradley out for a training camp spot or a non-guaranteed deal for their season, so you know at the very least Tony Bradley has been active in the NBA circuits the past year or so. So look, I like Tony Bradley's general length and his ability to rebound the ball. Per 36-wise, he's a 14-point, 13-rebound type player, so at the very least you know he'll clean up on the glass. But he's just a little too loafing for me. I don't think he has great foot speed and is far from a quick twitch explosive athlete, but at the very least, I think he can finish around the rim and has pretty good touch. He has a nice floater to his game and can finish in the pick and roll pretty solidly. He's just not explosive. But yeah, again, he's nearly 7 feet tall and he does have a long 7'5" wingspan. So if the Lakers just need size and a long body to rebound, Tony Bradley fits that bill. All right, before we get to my last 3 options, I just wanted to really quickly remind you guys to please do me the huge favor of hitting the subscribe button on this channel. It helps me out tremendously in building out this brand and platform so that I can continue to more consistently pump out this type of content for you guys. And then I do have some new exciting news to share with you guys. I just launched our Lakers Legacy merch site, which you can find in the link above or below. There you can find all sorts of Lakers Legacy paraphernalia and apparel just in time for the holiday season. In fact, I just launched my first 2 Lakers designs, which are both very JJ Redick-centric. We've got the I Really Don't Give an F line, which is pretty self-explanatory and features a shadowed caricature of JJ Redick serving as the A in the DGAF acronym. I designed this myself and thought it would be pretty clever to turn Redick into a letter and place him right in the center of his own defiant declaration. So check out that design on the site, which you can get as a t-shirt, as a long-sleeved shirt, as a sweater, as a hoodie, as a mug, etc., etc. And then lastly, we've also got my basketball sicko line, which is again very JJ Redick inspired. This design is based on the iconic Red Cross ambulance/hospital symbol, which signifies sick people. You guys get it? Basketball sicko, sick people. But I obviously flipped it on its head and made it purple and gold relevant. So you can find this design with the purple cross or the gold cross. And you can either get it in its emblematic style with a larger central icon in the middle, or you can get it in its patch style where it's a smaller logo in the upper left-hand corner of the t-shirt or apparel. So yeah, if you guys would like to support the work that I do and literally get something out of it, please check out the Lakers Legacy Teespring store, peruse through all of the styles and clothing options. We've got some women's tees as well. I would be eternally grateful and appreciate it. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to my last 3 veteran big man names and then my final ranking at the end of the video. Moving on to number 3. So not without some controversy of his own, let's talk about the canceled Meyers Leonard. And if there was any place for Meyers Leonard to ingratiate himself further with the Jewish community, it would be in Los Angeles. Meyers Leonard is 32 years old. He is 7'1" in height, so he's one of the few options on this list who's a legitimate 7-footer. He has a long 7'3" wingspan and is pretty bulky and well built at 260 pounds. Meyers Leonard last played in the NBA about a year and a half ago in 2022-23 with the Milwaukee Bucks, where he averaged 5 points, 4 rebounds in 12 minutes a game. He actually started 2 games for the Bucks that year and had games of 9 points and 7 rebounds, and 10 points and 12 rebounds, even hitting a 3-pointer in both games. So Meyers Leonard has never been a good shot blocker, averaging only 0.3 blocks in his career, and he's only ever been a so-so rebounder, averaging 4 rebounds in his career and 9 rebounds per 36-wise. But what I do like about Meyers Leonard is his overall sturdy, bulky frame. He's a rock-solid body that can kind of hold his ground against bigger, beefier centers. He's a bit physical, and he's surprisingly athletic, even given that bulky frame of his. And during his time with the Portland Trail Blazers, he was known for being a good communicator on the defensive end of the floor, and someone who can hold up well under a team defense scheme, which the Lakers have. But most importantly, I like that Meyers Leonard can legitimately space the floor. He is a career 39% three-point shooter on low volume, hitting 0.7 threes a game, but I think that he has flashed enough of a solid pick-and-pop three-point game that you can rely on him to be a solid spacing big man, almost like a Dollar Tree brand version of Brook Lopez. Also, he is a career 81% free throw shooter, so you know that he can definitely shoot the ball. So there is Meyers Leonard. Moving on to number 4. So this one admittedly is definitely a lot more way out there and is more of a shot in the dark, and also not without its own controversy. So let's talk about Willie Cauley-Stein. Willie Trill Cauley-Stein. So Willie Cauley-Stein has actually been in the news most recently, opening up about his drug problems in the past and his long but progressive road to recovery in that respect. But with that said, I only bring Willie Cauley-Stein's name up because out of anyone else on this list, he actually plays the most similarly to Jaxson Hayes. And for a team like the Lakers, having that athletic juice and pop and having that vertical lob threat who can also run the floor is actually pretty valuable to how this team likes to operate. Willie Cauley-Stein is still only 31 years old. He is 7 feet tall with a 7'3" wingspan and weighs 240 pounds. He last played in the NBA in 2021-22 with the Dallas Mavericks and the Philadelphia 76ers very, very briefly. He played in the G League in 2022-23 for the Rio Grande Vipers, averaging 9 points, 6 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and 1.5 blocks. Last season, he played in Europe with Italian Varese, where he averaged a double-double during his time there. He is currently playing in the CBA with the Nanjing Monkey Kings this year. And just judging from the tape during his time with Varese in the EuroLeague, he still very much looks like the long, athletic, mobile center that he was in the NBA. Willie Cauley-Stein is long, but he's also very explosive and quick off the ground, and that's how he plays as a lob threat and as a rim protector. And again, he's a really mobile center who really sprints up and down the court and can ignite your team in transition. And yeah, I just think having those types of skill sets for the Lakers has some value, especially if it's only for 10 to 15 minutes a game, that injection of dynamic energy and athleticism. All right, on to my last big man candidate, number 5. Let's talk about a familiar name for Lakers fans, and that is Moses Brown. So at 25 years old, Moses Brown is the youngest center out of this group, and most people probably wouldn't consider him experienced or call him a vet. But since he's no longer two-way eligible and actually has several years of legitimate NBA experience with pretty decent run, I'm still putting him in this group. So Moses Brown is actually the tallest player out of this batch. He is 7'2" and has a near 7'5" wingspan. He is somehow listed at 258 pounds, which is actually kind of surprising since he still looks super scrawny to me. But regardless, Moses Brown is a long AF, lanky center with good rim protecting abilities. He was obviously part of the Lakers Summer League team this past July and showed some flashes of his insane length. In the Vegas Summer League, Moses Brown actually led the Lakers in block shots per game, averaging 1.5 blocks per game. He also averaged 9.5 points and 6 rebounds in just 14 minutes per game. His best season in the NBA came with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2020-21 when he averaged 8.6 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 1.1 blocks in just 21 minutes per game. So given his size and length, Moses Brown is actually not as prolific a shot blocker as you'd imagine, but his length is very disruptive. And he's actually got some nice off-the-ground athletic pop and explosiveness to him that I really like. He can also just rebound the ball pretty well, averaging 15.2 rebounds per game per 36-wise in his career. I worry about whether he can be a key offensive cog in JJ Redick's 5-out motion system and whether he has the smarts enough to pick it up. But from a pure length and toolsy perspective, Moses Brown is quite intriguing as a pick-and-roll alley-oop big who can also rebound the ball and also be a good weak side rim protector. And he's definitely got the most upside out of anyone on this list since he's only 26 years old. So there is Moses Brown. All right, so that does it for my list of 5 cheap veteran big man names to look at on the free agency market. Now, how would I go about ranking these big men? I'll give you my top 3. So if we start at the top and make our way down, I think I'd probably go number 3, Moses Brown. Number 2, Bismack Biyombo. He's boring, but he's tried and true and steady as a veteran big man. And then number 1, somewhat surprisingly, I'd say Meyers Leonard. I'll say it's really close between Biyombo and Meyers Leonard. And while Biyombo brings the professional defense and length, I think Meyers brings that bulk and brawn in a 7-footer's body that I think the Lakers really need next to Anthony Davis. And then on top of that, I really like Meyers Leonard's spacing ability and his potential to be a seamless fit within JJ Redick's system as a great DHO and pick and pop guy, and he sets really solid screens because he has such a bulky frame as well. Fun fact, Myers Leonard also faced off virtually against JJ Redick in a beer-chugging contest during the NBA bubble back in 2020. So yeah, maybe the Lakers want to give wannabe Ryan Felipe lookalike Brody a chance in Myers Leonard. We'll see. But yeah, what do you guys think? Out of this list of mostly uninspiring veteran big man options who may or may not be washed already, who would you guys take a flyer on with a non-guaranteed contract? And do you guys have some names of your own that I did not consider? Let me know in the comments below, and please remember to subscribe to this channel and check out the Lakers Legacy merch and apparel store in the link below. With that said, this has been Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.